Hi ServiceNow experts. So today in this video I'll demonstrate how can we configure Amazon AWS S3 bucket with ServiceNow. So I'll go through and quick demo on how like AWS, how can we create a bucket and users, and how can we upload couple of files over there, and those files I'll pull in ServiceNow through the out of the box POC, Amazon S3 POC. And once we'll pull that file, I'll transfer that file, I'll read that Excel file and I'll put the record in the destination table. So for in this scenario, the destination table I'll be using a user table. So I'll be having two columns in the Excel. The Excel I'll be adding in the S3 bucket that will have two columns, and that two column information I'll put in the CC user table. So let's see how can we do that. First let me take you to the Amazon account. So this is one of Amazon account. So in Amazon there are two types of user. One is root user and is IAM user. So maybe there will be couple of more type of user, but I am not a Amazon AWS developer, so I am not much aware about the process. But for basic understanding how can we configure, that I can let you know here. So we have a two kind of user. One is root user, one is IAM user. Okay, so root user basically will never follow to configure any API and all with root user. It's a best practice in Amazon to create a IAM user. With that account you have to configure the client ID and client secret, those things, because why that is required? To establish a connection between Amazon and ServiceNow, we need something secret keys. So that secret key will be generated, can be generated from an account. Okay, let me take you to the Amazon. So here if you see, this is a AWS account. Here I have created one group called Pradyumna YouTube. You can click on this create group button, and you can you have to follow a naming convention here, proper naming convention. Then you can click on this create group, create user group. But before that you can select, there is one role called S3. If you type S3, you will find one role called Amazon S3 full access. This is nothing but a policy in AWS. So this one you have to check this checkbox and you have to create this user. Once it will get created, this group will get created, then you can come to the user section. You can create one particular user. Okay, here I have created a couple of user, and while creating the user you can add that user to particular this group. And once you'll add that group, then you can come to the access key part. How can I generate the access key? So you can see here I have a hyperlink called create access key. I can click this one and it will get created, and it will, once I'll click on this one, it will ask me what kind of use case. So you can pick your third party service and I can understand, and if you click on the next button, it will ask you from something. You can give some test SN integration, some tag you can give, create access key. So once you will do that, you can click this download.csv file. So in the CSV file you can have that client ID and client secret handy, and you can click on this show button also. You can copy from here. This is the access key and this is the access secret. So once you will close this page, then you will not able to view. So it's better click on this button, download.csv file. So the access key and secret key will be in the CSV file. You can open that file and you can read. So this is all about how can we configure, how can we get the access key. So if I'll go to the S3 bucket, once it is done, then you can search here S3 bucket. Okay, so S3 is nothing but a services in Amazon AWS. So here I have two buckets. One is test SNS 3 bucket, one is Pradyumna-June 15. If I'll open this, here I have couple of files. You can see octa.xl, oracle.xl, swagger.json. There is one folder also I have added. If I click on this, inside this there is one more Excel. So you can upload a file or you can upload a folder over here. You can see there is a create folder option is there, upload option is there. Both the things AWS allowed. So this is the basic configuration I have made. Now I'll show you in the ServiceNow what are the configuration we have to make to get these files. Okay, so I'll go to the first of all I'll come here, I'll search for connection and credential alias. Okay, one more thing before to get started this, we should have a Amazon S3 POC available. Okay, in the plugins we have to install that plugin. I'll show you what is that exact plugin. And this plugin you can install in your dev instance, in your PDIs. It should be your enterprise instance, otherwise it will not allow, and it's a chargeable. It's a part of integration hub also. If I'll search here Amazon S3, oops, I'm not getting anything. Let me search with S3. I'll click on installed. Here you can see Amazon S3 Spock. There is one Amazon S3 Spock. You can install this. Once you install, you will be able to do that. Okay, so once you install, then you can search for connection and credential. Connection and credential alias. Here you will find for Amazon S3 on by default one connection credential alias will be there. You can open this, and below that in the credential section you can click on new button and you can create a record. Here I have already created AWS test, and here you have to add that access key, access secret, whatever we have received from here. So once you will download that .csv file, now inside that these two value will be there. You just need to configure it. So once you will configure these two, that means our 50% job is done. That means integration has been established. How can I check that okay integration has been established or not? I'll quickly go to the flow designer. This is one basic flow I have created. Here I have first created a lookup buckets. So lookup buckets is nothing but it will pull all the buckets whatever is available. Okay, in Amazon there might be multiple buckets, right? If you have opt for Amazon S3 bucket, the maximum amount you can create, like I think 100 is the maximum number of buckets you can create. So if you have 100 buckets here, it will pull all the 100 buckets data in the ServiceNow. Okay, so this is the first action we have to call to look up buckets. Then out of the box there is one action which name is download S3 object to ServiceNow record. So this action is nothing but it will pull the file from the S3 bucket to ServiceNow. Okay, here if you see the drop down, I have two buckets. So once you will do call this lookup bucket, automatically bucket name will start appear over here. You no need to create anything. I picked this one, and this is a key object. You can see here whatever files I am having there, automatically it is showing in the drop down. Everything will come here automatically. No need to configure anything else apart from this. I'll pick oracle.csv. So I have picked one incident number also. That Excel file will come and it will get attached over that incident. So by default, out of the box, if you go for this action, it will always you can add the record into the incident table. And here you can change the naming also. Suppose the name is oracle.xls, you can give like pradyumna.xls, but make sure you should have a extension as well, otherwise it will not work. So once you will click on the done button, so and you will test this, it will pull the data, it will put it in the incident table. That one I'll show you at the end. And okay, so I'll show you also how can you add that actions. If you can see, there is already once the Spock will get installed and it is activated, Amazon S3 this Spock will available, and here inside that these many functions, these many actions which has already configured as out of the box it will come. So here this one I have used, and apart from that you can use this one lookup buckets we have already used. Create buckets also you can do that. You can create a bucket in the S3 also from ServiceNow. This thing also it can be possible. Okay, so there is one limitation, not limitation, maybe ServiceNow has given this as a open for the ServiceNow developers because it is only allowing us to add to the incident table. But our use case is we have to get the file and we have to run the transfer map, we have to add that in the data source, and the data source needs to be executed from the flow, and that data should be transferred to the user table. How can you do that? So for that, what I have done, I have cloned this particular action. Okay, if I'll show you here, this is out of the box one. I have cloned it. I have given a name called download S3 object and non-data source. And if you come to the inputs one, here in the reference, this one we have to change. Instead of earlier, if I go to the out of the box, it will be, you can see reference.incident. If you clone it and sorry, not this one, this one. If you clone it, I have changed it to reference to data source, because this has enabled the read only policy. You cannot change this, you have to clone it. I just cloned and I just only changed this one. I didn't change anything else apart from this, and you have to publish it. Okay, once you'll publish this, and I have called the same action, same thing, and make sure it is in the same scope only, Amazon S3 scope only. Okay, so once it will having the Amazon S3 scope, automatically you can see this icon will appear, otherwise this icon will not appear. Apart from that, there is nothing. I didn't check much, but okay, you can try that cross scope ability it is allowing or not. So, but it's best practice we should follow the same scope. Okay, so here you can see it is asking for me data source. I have created a data source called Pradyumna-S3-test. If I'll take you to the data source, okay, this is the data source I am having. I have created this data source. I have configured the same data source over here. So that means whenever it will pull the oracle.xl file, it will add that to the data source record. So automatically that Excel will be attached to this data source. So our first part is done. I have attached the I have brought the Excel and I have attached to the data source. And second part is, now I have to execute the data source. Okay, to execute a data source, there are different ways, right? One way, I can come here and I can click this button, load all records. It will load all the data in the staging table. Okay, but I will follow the automatic way. How can you do that? For that, I have created a scheduled data import. Okay, you can see this is the scheduled data import, and in the scheduled data import I have only added this S3 bucket as a data source. Okay, now I have created, that means whenever I click on this execute now button, automatically data whatever will be available, whatever Excel will be available in the data source, it will transfer to the staging table. So how that Excel will get attached, that Excel will come from the S3 bucket, right? If I'll go to the data source, here also you should be adding file literable method as attachment. It should not be FTP or SFTP, nothing. It should be attachment. If you will add it attachment, that means whatever attachment will be attached to this particular record, that record only, that Excel only, it will read and it will go through the transfer map. I have created a transfer map, which destination table you can see here, sys user table, and the source table is this staging table. Okay, now the next okay, now we have created the schedule import. Now I have to execute this schedule import from Flow Designer. So if you see here this execute now button, if I go to this particular UI action, it has written certain codes. Okay, and this code is, this is the one line which is written, this is the one API which will execute. By using that API you can execute the schedule import, but make sure this API should be called inside the global scope. You cannot call this API from the scoped application. Okay, as this Amazon S3 one is a scoped one. So for that, what I have done here, I have created a action. That action is in global scope. Okay, so once I have created that action, I'll show you that action as well. Okay, this is the action I have created. This action will take one input as schedule input, and that should be string one. So it is nothing but it will accept only the sys ID of that schedule input. Okay, once I'll receive that sys ID, I'll glide record to the sys input table with that sys ID, and I'll call the same API with object. I'm passing a SI object. This is because if you see this one, it is nothing but passing the current object. Current object means it's a glide record object of this record. So that's why I have written that code like that. It will pass the glide record object. Okay, once where is my that one? Okay, so once you will configure this, you can publish this action and you can call it over here. Okay, now there will be one catch. Whenever Excel will be attached, it will be attached multiple time, right? One by one. Suppose we are not removing any Excel, we are just adding it. So we have to remove as well. So to remove that one, I have I have called one delete attachment action. Okay, that delete attachment action I have called here. Here I have passed the source one, and I check this one and delete all attachments, and I click this, done. So now let's do one thing. I'll first time load this. Okay, this is having one Excel file called oracle.xls. Let's see here what I have added in the lookup. I have added Oracle. Okay, I don't want Oracle, I just want Okta. I'll click on done. I'll click on save. Let me save this. I'll test it. Let's see. I'll click on run test. So once we'll get this one, once we'll get the data, let's see, once we'll get the data, it will started populating in the staging table. Okay, let me refresh the staging table. We got the data. You can see we have received couple of data over here. So there I have two fields, name and ID. One OHR is there. So these two data I am receiving over here. If I'll come to this one, if I'll reload this one, because this is our data source, you can see Oracle has been replaced with this Okta. So next time whenever I'll execute, automatically this will be replaced with the newer one, whatever new Excel I'll receive. This is okay. Somewhere I have done couple of hard coding and all, but you can try to automate this. If anywhere you are facing any challenges, you can let me know. Definitely I'll try to help you. So here also I can show you these are two buckets which is receiving are the output, and this is the data also. This has completed without any error. It has attached that record into this incident. If I'll open this incident, I don't know why it is taking time. Okay, you can see it has already attached that Excel. So this is one thing, and this delete aside attachment also worked properly. This one also worked properly without any error, and at the end it has ran the input set. And make sure whenever you are deleting the attachment, it should be before, it should not after the schedule import. It should before that, means at the top of beginning of your code. So I hope you might have received couple of insights about this. How can we configure S3 bucket with ServiceNow? Thanks for watching.